Wealthy young lady, despite being in a good position as a young miss, keeps insisting on returning to the countryside, even when she's running a high fever. She calls her stepmother to pick her up. The mistress's heart is in pain, so she can only call her stepmother, asking her how to make the 8 treasure porridge her daughter likes, and invites her to the city. When Daffy wakes up and sees her stepmother suddenly appearing, she is pleasantly surprised, and the mother and daughter embrace each other in tears. The stepmother takes out the 8 treasure porridge she brought from the countryside. Seeing this scene, the birth mother feels empty inside. Her daughter has never been so intimate with her. It's the first time eating in a wealthy household, and the stepmother is very reserved, accidentally dropping the spoon on the floor. Feeling flustered, during the meal, the mistress suggests taking Daffy abroad for further studies after some time. The stepmother is completely stunned, while Daffy expresses her refusal. The mistress asks the stepmother to persuade her daughter, saying that Daffy doesn't want to go because she's worried about her, which would hinder her future prospects. Since the stepmother rarely visits the city, Daffy takes her around for sightseeing. The stepmother continues to persuade Daffy, urging her to go abroad with her mother, saying that they can still communicate through phone calls. However, Daffy refuses. She can't bear to leave her stepmother, nor can she bear to leave Tim, whom she likes. The day to send off the stepmother arrives quickly. Daffy talks to her colleagues on the phone and mentions being at the station, which Tim happens to overhear. Worried about Daffy's health, he also wants to go to the station to check on her. In fact, when Daffy had a fever, he was extremely anxious. He rushed to the hospital but saw Eric and her mother by her side, so he could only silently turn around. Now, he arrives at the station, sees Daffy, and pretends it's a chance encounter, wanting to invite her for a cup of tea. Daffy, however, says she's busy and needs to go back. Tim pulls her over forcefully to have tea together, but when the two people who like each other sit face to face, they have nothing to say. The atmosphere becomes awkward for a while. Daffy is about to leave without even sitting for a moment. Seeing her distancing herself, Tim feels uneasy again. As soon as Daffy arrives home, she hears her mother crying. Her grandfather tells her, "Your mother will have to go to the hospital if she continues like this." It turns out that the mistress was crying so sadly, because she was afraid that her daughter would leave with the other mother. Seeing her mother like this, Daffy feels a bit guilty. Daffy finally makes up her mind to go abroad with her stepmother, but Tim is not doing well. Whenever he sees a similar figure, he thinks of Daffy. It seems that there are memories related to her everywhere. Before parting ways, Daffy comes to say goodbye to him. Although Tim feels sad, he doesn't try to hold her back. They wish each other well, but when Daffy walks away, Tim realizes that he can't just let her go like this. He is unwilling to miss the person he loves, so he desperately chases after her. And finally, on the roadside, he sees Daffy looking downhearted. He confesses his love to her loudly, and Daffy has been waiting for these words for a long time. Tim no longer cares about anything else, and embraces her in his arms.